Ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners of WBCR everywhere, welcome back to Daniel and Oscar's Soccer Show. My name is Oscar Docavo, here with you today, recording from the lovely WBCR studios. Daniel just got into your frame right now. Daniel, say hi to the lovely people.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
And today, folks, we got a real special treat with you. Guest to the studio, we got a huge United fan and writer extraordinaire. We got Ethan Rosenblum in the building. Ethan, say what's up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ethan. How y'all doing?
All right.
So today is going to be our Premier League prediction special because the season starts Friday. This is August 14th, day of recording, and the season starts August 16th. And I woke up and realized, oh, yeah, it starts Friday.
Yeah, no.
I had no idea it started on Friday.
No,
so
I forgot until like the beginning. I didn't know until like a week ago that the Community Shield was going to be this weekend. I had no idea.
You know what it is? I think I don't remember it starting this early, but it has the past couple of years. I just haven't gotten used to it yet. I think it's what's been happening. But the earlier the better.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love the Premier League. It's one of the best leagues in the world, and it's the best league to comment on. So. It's the coup de grace, if you will, and doing predictions for this league is always fun because it's so in this year specifically because I struggled with this. I really did. I had a lot of difficult decisions here, especially between even top four. I struggled with trying to figure that out, but we'll get into that and we'll see what you guys have too and see if we agree or disagree.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm super stoked to talk about today. You want to get right into it?
Let's get right into it.
All right. So let's start at the beginning of the table. Top of the table, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Let's begin with the top of the table. So last year's top four, just in case you guys didn't remember, it was Manchester City claiming their fourth straight Premier League title. Arsenal was in second place, lost by 2 points. Liverpool was in third, comfortably behind Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And Aston Villa, I think, surprised a lot of people last year in finishing fourth, getting that last Champions League spot. But I don't know. What do you guys? Let's start with one. Who do you guys think's winning the league this year?
I have Man City.
Yeah,
I have Man City.
I wish I could be a little bit more bold and stuff, but I don't know. There's a difference between being bold and just being dumb, and I can't see anyone. City, man, it's Goliath.
Yeah.
They're just the Terminator. No matter how many times you think you shoot them, they're just going to keep coming back even more vicious than before. I think they're not without their weaknesses, but they've kept. I think losing Julian Alvarez to Atleti is going to hurt them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Pep's always got a plan. Pep's always got another guy who he's going to bring into the fold and just bring something else out of. And yeah, it's losing Alvarez is not enough to stop this team from winning the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. You have the best striker in the world, Erling Haaland. You have possibly the best defender in Ruben Diaz, the best goaltender in Ederson, and quite possibly the best midfielder in Rodri. So, in every third of your game, you have the best possible player in the world. And Europe's never been a problem for them. They've always wanted the Champions League, but the Premier League has never been on the back of their mind. They've always put that in the forefront. I mean, until proven otherwise, they're going to win the league. Until I've seen another team be better than them, you cannot pick Man City.
Yeah. You can't bet against this team. Ethan, what do you think?
Even last season, Arsenal took 4 points off them, but they couldn't be, they couldn't win 30 games a season against everyone else. There's an insane level you have to play at. Believe me, I wish someone could beat City.
So, all right, let me ask you this. So, this is the last year of Pep's contract, right?
He is probably leaving in the summer. That's what it's pointing towards right now, but you never know.
So do you think that they have more of an emotional kind of toll on this team, like kind of what Liverpool had with Jurgen Klopp? Or is it more like they're going to be more determined to try to focus on that Champions League than the Premier League? Or is that standard still going to be set throughout the year?
Yeah, I think they're going to be trying to win everything. I'm sure, I know a lot of these players really do like Pep. Pep's a legend. I'm sure they'll want to send him off, right? That'll just give them a little added boost. That's a good point, Daniel. I didn't even bring that up. But I think that's just going to kind of give them probably even more motivation.
Right.
Not like they needed any, but yeah. Yeah. It's probably just gonna, it just gives them that added bonus, that even more energy than they had last time.
Yeah. Oh, you want to fill out the rest of the top 4?
Yeah. Hold on one sec. I just want to kind of go over some of their signings that they've made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
they've
Sabia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've had a weird, not a weird window. It's been a very Manchester City window. They don't really need much. I think Alvarez surprised a lot of people.
They need a backup striker now.
Yeah. I mean, I going into the year, I thought they had pretty much a solid team, and they were just going to fill it out with youngsters. But
yeah, well, I think expect to see Oscar Bob playing a lot in the beginning of the year, while like all the players who are at Copa and at the Olympics and at the Euros get back into shape. I think he's going to really help them out. I think you'll see quite a few of those young guys get featured. Some of the guys who maybe aren't good enough to get in the team right away. I think you'll see them get featured, and I also think that I think Erling Haaland's going to be pretty unstoppable this season. I was trying to think about it on my way here, but I can't think of another player of his quality that got to rest all summer long. Most of the other, all the other top players have been
Denmark
at
didn't qualify.
Copa America,
Euros, the Olympics.
Yeah, the Olympics. He was just chilling in, I don't know, Norway or somewhere. I don't know.
I mean, a rested Haaland is a scary Haaland, and we saw that whenever he played for Man City, he was the most effective player on the pitch. And the games he didn't play, they kind of struggled to score goals, but even them struggling is great success for other teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a struggling City is most teams' ideal
season.
Yeah. I don't know. Ethan, can you see anyone outscoring Haaland this?
No, absolutely not. I think one issue that might help someone outscore him is that this will maybe be also De Bruyne's last year at City and not just Guardiola's. He has been slowing down. He's been getting injured a lot more often. And they had, especially in their first season together, just an insane connection that was pretty much undefendable. So hopefully that works out for the rest of the league, that De Bruyne is finally getting old.
Well, he played 11 games last year, or like close to, because he was out for most of the year.
He had a few big injuries.
Yeah, and he didn't come back towards the end of the season. But yeah, I agree with you. The games they had together were
18 games.
18 games.
Yeah.
How many of them were with Haaland on the pitch?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top, but in the Prem alone, he played 18 games, and he still had 4 goals and 10 assists.
I mean, like, the guy's great.
Yeah,
the guy is great.
He's one of the greatest players in Premier League history, I mean, if you're a fan of an opposition team, you can only hope that these injuries are going to slow him down enough. But then you've got Foden. You've got
Foden, you got Rodri, you got...
I mean, even Grealish can carry... He's at least good at carrying the ball. He's not maybe as creative as they would like.
The irreplaceable Calvin Phillips. Forget about that one.
West Ham legend. Oh my God!
Irreplaceable.
Right. Well, I don't think we really need to talk about City that much more. If you don't know about City, you probably are pretty new to the game, or maybe you were just in a coma for many years when you still thought they had Richard Dunn and Stephen Ireland and stuff. But yeah, no, we don't really need to talk about them that much. They are what they are. I think they're going to win. Hopefully it's close. Hopefully a team can overtake them just for the sake of the league, man.
Yeah.
Like, what? Wait, crap. This would be 6 in a row if they won this?
5.
Yeah.
Only 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, so moving on to last year's runners-up, Arsenal. So this summer, they've been decently busy.
So do you have them at 2?
I think so. I think
we're all in agreement. We'll have them at 2.
I also don't really see a team that can overtake them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it'll be a struggle for them to overtake City, but I can't really see Liverpool, Aston Villa, or Tottenham making up the ground.
No,
I can't see it. So they bought
they brought in Calafiori.
Yeah.
Timber will be fit. Their defense should be better. Even better. Not that their defense was their problem. But.
Yeah. And at time of recording, Mikel Merino has not been signed yet, but
it's gonna happen.
It's probably gonna happen.
Yeah.
It looks like they're just ironing out little details now. So yeah, I mean, I like those signings. I don't dislike those signings at all. I think Calafiori. I thought last season Arsenal were a little bit too predictable in attack.
Mm-hmm.
They really went up the right side a lot. Used Saka as like kind of the guy. Their left side didn't have as much fluidity, didn't move as well. And I think, they're probably going to play Calafiori kind of as a weird center back / left back kind of thing. Like it'll be a hybrid.
They'll have another Ben White on the left.
Yeah,
They'll
exactly.
play exactly the same, probably.
Exactly. And he's just gonna make the attack more fluid. That being said, I don't know if these signings make the attack potent enough to catch City. I don't think they need to outscore City because no team can, because no other team has Haaland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the only team I really expect to score goals at the same rate as City is maybe Real Madrid with like Vinicius and Mbappe and stuff, but they don't play in the Premier League. And yeah, I think it wasn't a great market for strikers. There wasn't really anyone who would really make Arsenal that much better. Unless we're talking about Osimhen, and Napoli wanted so much money for it.
We've talked about that, and that's a whole different situation.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't see Arsenal spending 120 mil on a player. That's not really what they do. And even then, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you the title. But I don't know, man. I would have liked to see them sign some kind of striker, because Jesus has proven that he's a useful player when he's fit. But even when he's fit, he's not a top-level goal scorer, and he's not fit nearly enough. He gets hurt too much. And if you want to compete on, all three fronts, Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, you can't have a guy who's that injury-prone be your starting striker.
Yeah, I think part of why I have them second is I haven't seen Arteta really win the big game, and I haven't really seen him prove to me that he knows how to win a Premier League title. I think he's still not there yet, but I think he's in the right direction. I think he has the right players for his system. I think his system works, definitely. I don't know if it works against teams like Pep going down a title stretch, because you saw them run out of gas. You saw them kind of falter towards the end of the year, and you saw them just kind of, when the backs were against the wall, they crumbled. They had the number one spot for a couple of weeks, and they lost it. City just knew what to do. They didn't panic, and they just never lost. And Arsenal kept dropping the ball in some of the I can't remember specific games, but I remember they dropped a lot of points towards the end of the season.
The Villa game. Who else did they lose to again? I kind of.
To be fair to Villa, they were a very difficult team to beat for a top side.
But I'm saying like it's like those top four opponents, Arsenal, either they show out and they have a great performance and they end up coming away with 3 points, or they falter. Whereas Man City, you're expecting them to win those games and dominate those games. I haven't seen Arteta's team do that.
I think when Arteta came into Arsenal, the defense was so shambolic that his what you can see what he's been doing this whole time is he wants to make them solid. He wants to make them hard to score against, hard to play against. That being said, now he's I think the offense was pretty good last season, but one I've loved Bukayo Saka for years and years now, but they kind of play him into the ground each season, and you can, he's only a human being. You can kind of see at the end of these last 2 seasons, he's really slowed down. His quality's kind of fallen off, and he's also, he plays a lot for England. He's got a lot of mileage in his legs. So I'd also maybe like to see someone be able to take the mantle when Saka's kind of, not feeling as well.
It's been a little more difficult even considering Martinelli has had injury problems this past season, because usually they do split the load.
Yeah.
And that is, like you were saying about, the defensive reinforcements, having them have more flexibility in the build-up. They have been a little over-reliant on isolating one of Saka or Martinelli to create chances and to score goals for a little while now.
Yeah, and when it gets to the crunch time of the Premier League season, which never really takes a break because of the brutal winter period, they just don't have that. They don't have that ability to just say, hey, go beat a guy every single time we isolate him. Which is, they're great players. They do that a lot, but you can't just expect that. The Premier League's too strong of a league nowadays. And every team has so much money to spend.
Can we fault Arteta, speaking of so much money to spend, for signing Jesus and then Havertz in back-to-back summers and still needing a striker?
Oh,
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, I think. I don't know. A lot of people are telling me that Havertz is quite good now, and I'm like, okay, fine, he's a useful player, but
Yeah.
I just think that money could have been better spent. I think on a more adventurous
I agree.
side.
I rate him so much more highly than I used to, but they still overpaid. He was a flop at Chelsea. Why are you giving that much money to your rival?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if they knew how to spend it, it would be more dangerous. But
I mean, who would you rather have? You'd rather have De Bruyne or Kai Havertz?
yeah.
Who would you?
know.
I mean, but this is the game, right?
Yeah.
Man City, Arsenal. Who has the better team right now? Man City has a better team overall.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
They've got depth. But look, I don't think this Arsenal. They only lost by 2 points last year. It's not gonna be like this Arsenal team is scary. They're building something special here.
Yeah, I definitely think their hump's gonna be Man City. I think they're better than most of the teams in this league, especially this season. I think they're ready to go. I think they want to prove they could win. They are very reminiscent of a Liverpool team from the past 4 years when they went up against Man City, and they did knock them off, but it took them a long time.
Yeah.
And it took a very shaky season from Man City to really knock them off. So that's how I see this Arsenal team. I think they're right there, but Pep just has the perfect team, and he knows what to do, and that's the only reason.
I don't know. Yeah, you might have to. I think not this upcoming season, but the next season is probably a lot of teams' best chance. If Pep is truly gone, then it's going to be you got that window where you can maybe just get a title out of like a Pepless City. But that's depressing. But anyways, now I think it's going to get more interesting. So last year Liverpool finished in third.
Mm-hmm.
They have, at time of recording, August 14th, they have yet to make a single signing.
And I saw just now that Paul Joyce, a Liverpool journalist, usually pretty reliable, is saying that if it wasn't Zubimendi, they're not going to sign a holding mid, which I think is a mistake. Maybe they don't think anyone is that good as him that's available, or represents a similar value for quality. But
that's pretty crazy. I did not see that. Yeah,
that for me, for Liverpool, there are three major concerns. One is the new manager, Slot. How good is he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know that much about him. I know they have an incredible backroom administration recruitment set up there. I'm sure they picked a guy who's good at his job. But I don't know too much about him tactically. The second one, obviously, is the lack of a holding mid. That was the issue for 2 seasons now for them. Endo is good, but he was signed to be a stopgap. He wasn't signed to be,
the guy.
A starter in a league-winning team, a starter in a Champions League pushing team, And the third question is Mohamed Salah. Is he slowing down?
Yeah.
I think so. He's certainly physically slowing down. He's still got insane production, but without him, their midfield, I should say, is not very creative. So without Salah, they could struggle a lot.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be, his team again, and I think trying to hold that up for 38 Premier League games plus Europe plus FA Cup plus other competitions is just not possible. So they're going to have to make a choice with how they use him, which was never a concern, and now it is. I mean, they got talent. They obviously still have the talent. They're still one of the top teams in the league. I still think they're going to do pretty well, but I agree. I don't know much about Slot. I don't know how it's going to go. I think if it's going to be a similar kind of tactics to Jurgen, because it's still Jurgen's team. It's Jurgen's guys. It's Jurgen's, developmental teams as well. So interesting to see how if he does mix up tactics, how much he does mix it up, and if they struggle in the beginning, and how much that would cost them. But I think Liverpool still has one of the best defender in the world in Virgil van Dijk. I still think, I think the midfield is going to be their issue because there's just nobody that can bring the ball up the field and make that transition into the box-to-box midfielder without putting somebody out of position.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still hard for me to kind of knock them below. Like, I have them fifth. I put them fifth in the table. I have them pretty high. I still think they're a lot better than most of the teams in this league. I don't see them as being of the upper echelon anymore. But I think for a certain season, as they try to figure it out, they'll be stable. They won't be sexy, but they'll be solid. They'll be Liverpool. They'll be tough to play against, and they'll get marquee wins. But they won't have enough to push them toward the top 4 spot, in my opinion.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I think you have Liverpool lowest out of all of us.
You guys have them third?
I think we both.
I
third.
think so. I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. I think the points tally will go down, but I still think this team just has so much firepower, and it just still has the ability to just blow most teams away. And I know I really don't know a lot about Slot. I'm not an expert, but I do know that he plays some, high pressing. Oh, my bad. Some high pressing kind of football, not totally dissimilar to Klopp. It's just the biggest problem I see with Liverpool is going to be internal stuff, because you have a lot of attackers in this team who are really talented, and not all of them can be on the field at the same time. And I want to see how Slot can manage that.
So what's your front three for them?
Well, for Slot, what are you talking about? What do I think it's going to be, or what would I do?
What would you do as the front three right now?
God, that's a good question. I mean, I'm a Darwin guy. I like Darwin. I like what he brings to the team. I'd play him at the middle. I'd probably play Jota on one side and then Diaz on the other.
So you would bench Salah?
Oh, no, wait, my bad. Yeah, no, I'd bench Jota for Salah.
This
wait,
is how it is.
Wait, is that that's the side, right? Yeah.
Salah, Nunez, Diaz, I think, has been probably the most common front three they lined up with last season. They did have a few different injuries, so they wasn't very consistent.
Right.
But
I mean, I think for me personally, I think their best player is Luis Diaz, just because of how creative he is and how attack-minded he is. He's not only a goal scorer, he can also set up, he can also create, he can provide for Nunez and provide for Salah and take a lot of pressure off of Mohamed Salah.
He's a great ball carrier.
He's a great ball carrier, and I think with the lack of a midfielder, you need a player like that. You need someone to bring the ball up and to kind of create off the dribble and create on the dribble to create a chance.
Right.
I think he does that so effectively. And I just feel like with this, Liverpool team without a 100% Salah going throughout the whole year, they're going to be depending on Luis Diaz a lot more, right? Obviously, Nunes needs to score. Obviously, he needs to have a better year, but he did it for Uruguay.
Yeah.
He had a good campaign with Uruguay, so.
And I think he's a really raw player. He's not the most technically gifted, but at the absolute very least, he's a bull in a china shop, and he gets, he's always going to be hounding the other team's defense. He's going to create those mistakes that Diaz, Salah, Jota, Harvey Elliott, whoever is on the field can, maximize on. They can kind of poach some opportunities just from that.
Yeah.
I guess that's really my biggest thing is just how is Slot going to manage all these different players on the team, especially all the different attackers? Because, when it's Klopp's a legend there. When Jurgen Klopp says, look, man, you're not going to play, but I might have a plan for you. Even if you don't have faith in him, you're not going to kick up any trouble because Klopp is a legend. He has a lot more currency at Liverpool than you do, than pretty much anyone, probably even more than Salah. They loved Klopp so much there. Slot doesn't have that. If players start throwing their toys out of the stroller and kind of start making problems for him, hopefully the club has more integrity and isn't, so feeble. But if he doesn't get results right away and then you're going to hear some disgruntled players. And that's never great to have.
Yeah, and you had that a lot before Klopp came in.
Yes.
Liverpool
was just a mess.
Was a mess.
Yeah. I think that if I'm not mistaken, their third game of the season is against Manchester United, right? I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's a huge game for both teams. It's not gonna define the entire season, but it could make the beginning of your season so much easier. A big win against your rival is gonna just get so much favor for either Eric Ten Hag or Slot.
I will say, I don't think it will decide Liverpool's season, but it could very easily decide a lot of ours.
Okay, okay. Save that for a little bit later. We got United talk coming up, folks.
It's in Old Trafford. Ooh, that's an interesting game.
That's gonna be fun.
That's a huge game.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And they already got the time for it. It's at 11 a.m.
Yep.
Oh, damn, I have to wake up a little bit early, but it doesn't matter.
Have some coffee. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you want to hear my three because we were different?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I had Tottenham at 3.
Ooh, I have them at 4.
I believe in Ange.
Oh yeah, no,
I believe in Ange Ball. I think he's going to get them. I don't think he'll get them into a title contention, but I think he'll be definite top 4. He'll have a Champions League run. I love the way he plays. I love their signings. Their team was solid last year. They connect with him. He has that pulse of that club now, and he understands what he needs to do. Heung-min Son's one of the best wingers in the world. Richarlison is Richarlison. We know this. But I think they'll have enough goals. They have a really young midfield, but I think it'll work. I think they'll grow into the season more. Defensively is where I kind of am, especially at their fullbacks.
I think they might have the best fullback pairing.
You
in
think
the
so?
league. I think Porro is incredible, and I think Odogie is a really good defender.
Odogie's where I'm
He's
iffy
not
on.
as good on the ball, but he's a decent carrier of it, and he's very good defensive.
Porro for me, I like. I think he could be a top 5 fullback for this team, but I don't defend. He reminds me of Trent a lot, where he's maybe a little bit more better defensively than Trent, but creatively and on the ball, I think he's very solid, and he knows what to do with it. And that's been a black hole for them for a long time, and Pedro Porro just solves that instantly. Yeah. And I feel like with Ange's system, it works. It works with his players that he has there. He didn't really have to do much in the offseason. He bolstered the midfield, which I think was a big concern. And, you have Heung-min Son. You have one of the best wingers in the league, and they'll get their goals. They'll be solid. I think 3 is a fair spot for them. I think they will improve of last year, especially with teams below them. I just think Arsenal's better. I don't see anybody else being really that much better than Tottenham. Even if I think it's gonna be close. 3 through 5 for me were tough because they're so interchangeable. It could very easily be Tottenham at 5, Liverpool at 3, and 4 can change. It's gonna be interchangeable throughout the whole season.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not mad at that take. I think Tottenham. It wouldn't surprise me if they finish 3rd. I think they're gonna be biting at Liverpool's heels all year long. I'm going to piggyback off of a lot of what you said, Daniel. I love Ange. I like the guy. Now, no, am I a little bit biased just because he's a bloke and he looks like a good guy to have a pint with or something? Yes, a little bit. But, I just love his attitude, dude. I just love how – I really don't think he got quite a bit of credit at the beginning of last season. Yeah. But, almost by some people, not enough, bro. They lost Harry Kane. They brought in – Richarlison to replace. Oh no, Richarlison was brought in the year before.
Yeah.
They
never really replaced him.
Yeah, they didn't replace him.
And now they have.
And now they have. And we're gonna get to that in a second. And the vibes were amazing.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the year, I really don't know how many managers in the world would be able to go into that situation and just make it so positive, just get the fans so back on board with this team. I really don't know how many managers in the world could do that.
Yeah, Tottenham were reeling.
Yeah. No.
After firing Poch, they were reeling. They're trying to find anybody with a pulse to try to fix that team, and they finally have their guy.
Exactly. I think both the signings of Mourinho and Conte were both bad. I thought both Mourinho and Conte thought they were bigger than the club, and I thought that their styles of play and the way that they build teams did not fit into the way that Tottenham are successful. What would make a successful Tottenham team. And I don't know. I'm a big fan of this defense. I think, Udogie, he's not as good offensively, but I think he's going to grow into that role. I really like him. I think he's only going to get better. He's only 21 years old. Oh, he'll be 22 early in next season, but whatever. Still a youngster. I think he's only going to get better. My concerns with Tottenham would kind of be their offensive depth. Not the starting lineup, but the depth. Because James Maddison is such an important part of this team creatively. And he's an immensely talented player, but his injury record is just not good.
Yep.
It hasn't been good really ever in his whole career pretty much. I'm just kind of, because you can't really replace him if he gets injured in this team. There's not anyone who has that ability of, his passing ability, his ability from set pieces, his creativity. You don't really have that.
No, he's a light tower for sure. He connects a lot of that ball through the midfield into the final third, and they don't have another one.
But, I mean, Ange has kept... I don't know if he's been playing in preseason. I haven't watched much of Tottenham's preseason, but Lo Celso's not as mobile as Maddison, but Lo Celso's, he's an amazing passer, and Ange likes him a lot more than any of the previous managers did. I've always been a big fan of Lo Celso. When he gets on the field, he has amazing numbers in terms of ball progression and passing. So, I think if he steps up and Ange finally puts faith into him, I think Lo Celso could be a new signing.
Yeah, I mean, this is
he has injury problems too.
He's injury problems too, right? Yeah. I think the Archie Gray move kind of backs that up a little bit more. But again, that's an unproven youngster. And
what do you guys think of the Solanke move?
I think it's incredible.
I think it's a really smart move.
I think it's good. I mean, I don't know. At first, I was like, they overpaid, but just these days, you're a Premier League team, and if you want to get a good striker from another Premier League team,
that's what a starting striker costs for a Champions League team.
That's what it is.
Do you think it's too big of a jump, or you think it's the perfect jump?
I think it fits well, man, because he did really well for Iriola's Bournemouth because they're a really high pressing team. He has great pressing numbers. That's what Ange wants out of his forward. Right. Ange, historically, he doesn't really need, he usually, most of his best goal scorers are the 10 or the wingers. He likes the striker to be a dog and run after the ball and win the ball high up the field. That's what Solanke does. I don't think I'm pretty comfortable saying I think he definitely won't score 19 goals again because he's not going to be on penalties and he's not going to be the main man in the way he was for Bournemouth. But I see him hitting double figures.
I don't know. I think he could even hit 20 this season. I'm a big fan of his. I think he really developed into an incredible player. I remember when he was at Chelsea and first at Liverpool, and he kept getting sold for what at the time seemed like way too big fees for a failed youngster. I remember thinking he was terrible, but over the past couple of years, he's really developed, and especially last season under Areola, for a similar team. And as we were just saying, with Porro's crossing ability, Maddison's creative ability, Maddison's free kick ability, it's just really useful to have someone that big.
True.
And I think he'll be targeted a lot.
Do you think he starts with Richarlison, then throughout the year he'll switch to Solanke, or do you think it'll be more of Solanke starts and he'll be the starter throughout the whole season?
I think Richarlison will play a lot because he'll be rotating as first option for both Son and Solanke. They could even see Richarlison and Solanke play together sometimes if they need to rest a winger.
Yeah, no, I agree with Ethan. I don't think, because I don't know, I think Ange is involved with the signings and stuff. I think he has to approve everything. So I find it very hard to believe that they would sanction signing a player for 65 mil if he wasn't
confident
that he would start one day.
Yeah.
Eventually. And keep in mind, last year they weren't playing in Europe. This year they will be playing in Europe. They'll be playing in the Europa League, and they're one of the better teams in the Europa League. So I think both of those guys will get chances to start, though.
Yeah, I could definitely see a 10 and 10 for Solanke. 10 in the Premier League, 10 in the Europa League, or close to that.
Yeah, it depends on the minutes he gets, I think. Yeah. Because I was wondering, I think that as Son gets older, I think you might see him turn into a number 9. Because he has the physical attributes for it. He's a good finisher.
Did he just turn 30 or?
No, he must be 33 by now.
I think he's 32.
Is he 32?
I'm about to look it up. He is 32.
He's getting up there.
He will be 33 next season.
Yeah, he's getting there. All right, but I think for this season, I think they're still going to be around that 3, 4, 5 area, and I think they'll be solid. Ange will be as excited as he was when he started there, and they're just a fun team to watch.
Oh yeah,
they're just really so much fun to watch, game in and game out.
As you know, as a neutral, it's great to watch. I love watching this team.
They're a London team. I have West Ham, but I'll say they're a fun team to watch.
Hey, we're not biased here.
We're not biased.
We give credit where it's due.
Well, for where I put West Ham, we might be a little biased, but it's fine. It's fine.
All right. So wait, Ethan, is your fourth place team Spurs?
Also Tottenham. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So
my 4 was Man United. If you want to get into that now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's hear
Okay,
it.
wait. Yeah, let's talk about United.
I'm on a Ten Hag board. I'm on the Eric Ten Hag board. I believe in it. I don't know why I thought this. I'm on the bus. I'm making this table. I'm like, you know what? I believe in it. I believe it. I think this will be their. They won't have a great year. I think they'll be fighting for fourth. I think they'll get it. I think it'll be shaky at best, but I don't know how. I think he's steadied the ship. He'll have a full camp, and he'll have a healthy team. That's my firm. I don't know why. I'm going off of pure vibes here. There's no real technical reason for it. I think Rashford has a breakout year again. I think he finally comes back to himself. I think Bruno Fernandes is one of the best creative midfielders in the world, and when he's on the pitch, they're unstoppable sometimes.
Based Bruno.
Their holding midfield is non-existent sometimes. I get that.
Most of the time.
But I think defensively they're fine. I think Onana has a better year than he had last year.
Let's hope.
And I there's a lot of hope going into Manchester United this year, but I'm a Met fan. I place a lot of hope into everything. Okay, I'm a big hope guy, and I'm hoping this team will finish fourth. I for no reason other than just pure belief that they will finish fourth. That's legitimately it. I believe in Eric. Let's go, Eric.
We gotta get like a poster of "I'm a big hope guy."
I'm a big hope guy.
I love that.
Make it the motto.
But yeah, Ethan, as our resident United expert, that's one of the reasons we had you on the show today. Yeah.
I have us finishing 8th this season.
Wow.
I think we are absolutely terrible. I think we've addressed 2 of like the 5 or 6 must-address issues in the transfer window. I think Ten Hag really doesn't know what he's doing most of the time. I honestly I could not believe that when I was watching us last season, it was the fundamentals in every single game from August to May, except for one single game where we beat City in the FA Cup, and then the board decided to keep him because of that. I don't really get it. I think the biggest question is if Van Nistelrooy was literally told straight up, you'll replace Ten Hag, and that's why he took a step down from being an actual manager back to being an assistant manager. Because it really doesn't make sense otherwise. But I don't know. I think this will be Ten Hag's last year. I think hopefully it's Casemiro's. Hopefully it's Anthony's.
So do you think? All right. Do you give him till Christmas?
It's not up to me. I would have sacked him last Christmas.
But how long?
Yeah.
Would you give him
if we're outside of the European places heading into Christmas, I would not be surprised at all if he were sacked. I think we could very realistically see Michael Carrick's second interim manager stint for us this year. Big Michael Carrick fan, so I would like that.
Yeah, I think Man City just it's a flowing ship. It's either gonna sink or they're gonna keep floating, and I think that's been their seasons for the past couple of years. I believe that they will keep it going and that they'll improve upon themselves, but it can very much go the other way, and we've seen it go the other way a majority of the time. So they're so interesting because they're Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. You want to see them do well. You want to see them be on top of the mountain. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are sick of them. I understand that. But when they're good, the Premier League's good. And they're just a fun... They're a fun organization to watch. And they've been just failure after failure after failure since... I can't even remember their last...
2013.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been rough.
Yeah.
It's been rough.
Yeah.
Now, United fans deserve better.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question for Ethan.
Sorry.
Would you consider top 4 a success?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, personally, I'm pretty confident the way the coefficient will work out with the new Champions League and everything. The top 5 is like more or less guaranteed Champions League, not even just top 4. But I would absolutely take qualifying for the Champions League as like beyond our wildest hopes this season. I think. I mean, we currently have 2 fit fullbacks, already, and we just signed a fullback yesterday.
Yeah, and you just sold one.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like that, the Wan-Bissaka deal I think works out way better for West Ham than it does for us because we just sold our backup right back to sign another backup right back, but now he's the starting left back because Shaw and Malacia can't stay fit, so we have 0 backup fullbacks at the club, and that's just like what kind of recruitment strategy is that?
Yeah. What about you, Oscar? Where do you have Man United this year?
Like, I don't know. I wanted to say that Ethan was being too pessimistic, but on my way here, I can't. Yeah, I agree with Ethan, man. I think they're finishing 8th again, man. Like, I can't.
I couldn't. I don't know why. I just couldn't.
I think every team that finished above us last season is still better than us, and if anything, has increased the gap. The majority of them have increased the gap. I think Chelsea are going to be a lot better than they were last season. I think they'll increase the gap. Newcastle, I'm less confident about, but Villa have had a good window. I think they'll improve even more. Liverpool, we won't catch up to. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll stagnate. Maybe they'll go back a little. But Tottenham, I think, like we were just saying, have improved
immensely. Yeah.
Obviously, we won't catch Arsenal or City, so I don't see how we could finish above 8th right now.
I think you might be able to get into 7th over Chelsea.
I was going to put Chelsea 5th this season. I feel pretty confident that.
Wow, we went the other way with that one too. I have them 9th.
Really?
Whoa.
I have
it's very
them
possible.
9th.
It could go anywhere.
I think they're in the same boat as Manchester United. It can go either way.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, my thoughts on United. I mean, I agree with Ethan. You know, I don't think they did enough to address their problems. I'm not really a big Ten Hag guy. I think that. Yeah, and I think that almost every other team has improved. They're not better than City. They're not better than Arsenal. I don't think they're better than Tottenham, just straight up. Or honestly, Liverpool too. I don't think they're better than any of the top 4 on really almost any day. I think Newcastle will be better than they were last year. They won't have Champions League to worry about, so they won't have that torrid start to the year. Villa, I think, will finish lower than they did last year. I think they'll be 6th or 7th because Champions League is tough.
I had them 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Europe.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see it, man. Sorry, United fans.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who are United fans.
They're just a weird team.
Oh yeah.
On their best day, also the point I was going to make. Actually, it's not like they always beat big teams, but Ten Hag can set the team up right to counter.
There's an absurd stat in the Prem under Ten Hag. We've won like a total of 3 away games against teams in the top half in his 2 seasons so far.
Oh, that's brutal.
It's like 3 or 4. It's something that's literally that insane of a stat. It's I don't know. We're not very good.
Yeah.
We haven't been very good except for 2 months after the World Cup under him last season.
And you guys have a big problem breaking down teams that sit, I think, sometimes.
And usually we just overcommit players forward, and it's an insanely easy team to counter against.
Because there's no holding midfield. Yeah, Casemiro's a turnstile. He's a. I know I see turnstile where there's where people know that there's never a cop in the station. Everyone's hopping over it with gleefully.
We'll go and hopping. We're going underneath it. We'll go sideways through it. Forget it.
Opening up the door.
Open the door. Let everybody in. Nobody's playing the Metro card.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, and I just with the time that they have before they play on Friday. They play Fulham on Friday, right?
Yeah.
What additions can they make in time that's going to make this team better? I
have nothing. I haven't heard anything. The only thing coming out of it was the Wan-Bissaka deal, and that was pretty much it.
Apparently, we're at the point where we can't sign more players until we sell players, which brings me back to thinking that we had a terrible recruitment strategy because we spent $100 million on center backs when it was 4th priority position. So why are we out of money already?
All right, so let me ask you this as a United diehard. Are the Glazers the problem? Are they the overarching problem, or is there something? Is it the whole system?
They were. This is, I think, actually part of probably the biggest reason we didn't fire Ten Hag was because no other manager was willing to take that job yet. Because there's still a question about, what does it actually mean in terms of how the structure of the club works? That the Glazers are the owners, but the Ratcliffe Group has the sporting control interest.
Yeah.
What does that mean to a manager? Who's going to be my boss? You
know?
So this year, I guess kind of the main goal isn't even a footballing thing. It's to fix the club and maybe patch the roof when it rains or something.
Crazy Manchester United.
Sorry, United fans. I think it's going to be a tough season. I don't know, but Daniel believes in y'all. And that's what counts.
I believe. I think y'all will be okay, or you won't be. We'll see. It's hope.
Daniel's the cool uncle that still gives you slips you $20.
They'll be 80. Like, oh no, but if they win the next 15 games in a row, they'll be fourth though. So don't worry about it.
All right. All right. So we're right now. So we're in Europa League territory now. We're 5th to 8th right now, right? In our breakdown.
Okay.
Yeah. So. What do you guys think of? What do you guys think of Villa? Sorry, they finished 4th last season.
I have them 7th, and the sole reason I have them 7th is because of Europe, and I don't think they replaced Douglas Luiz. I think he was the most important player on that team last year, and they just have not. Selling him just was a mistake to begin with because there's no natural replacement for him, and he was so important to. Oh my God, what's his name? Oh no.
Unai Emery?
Unai, yeah. He was so important to Unai Emery's tactics, and I think they still have a great team. I think Ali Watkins is still a great striker. I still think they'll be fine in the Premier League. I think they're one of the top teams in the Premier League. I think Unai has a good pulse on that team. Europe is just brutal, especially in the Premier League. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have the depth to really justify a top 4 again. And I think 7th's a good spot for them. I think they'll be in Europe again next season. They just won't. They'll struggle in the Champions League. They'll have great nights and they'll have great atmospheres at their game, but it's tough when a team like that goes to Europe and has to redo it in the Premier League for the first time.
Yeah, no, all right, Ethan, you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything. I have them 6th.
Yeah.
So not that different. The one thing that I would say is I really rate Onana as a signing for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think between signing Onana and Barkley, they've done a pretty good job of giving themselves options in the midfield that they can not necessarily replace Luiz 1-to-1, but Onana can do the running, and then Tielemans or Barkley can do more of the tactical work.
Yeah.
And then you might not even miss him. But Onana, I think, is a very good player. Very good defender, runs with the ball well.
I just feel like if you need to get 3 people to replace one, it's tough. It's tough, and you're obviously not going to find a 1-to-1. But I think you did the right thing in bringing in more people to substitute that. And
that's been a major theme of the Premier League transfer window this summer is clubs doing things that don't necessarily make sense, and then there's weird player swap, inflated transfer value, and they're like, okay, I guess that's why they did it.
Money laundering.
Pretty much.
What were you going to say, Oscar?
Yeah, I don't have too much unique to add on to what you guys said. I have them. I couldn't really decide if it was 6th or 7th, but in that area.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how good Chelsea are. I'm not expecting Chelsea to be very good. So I'm leaning more towards Villa in 6th. I agree with what Ethan said. Douglas Luiz had a really good year last year, but I don't think he's an irreplaceable player. I think, you got Boubacar Kamara. He's great. If he comes back fit, that's going to be really good. Ross Barkley was really good for Luton last year. And I don't know, he might be able to replace some of that hustle and bustle carrying the ball up the field that Douglas Luiz had.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch a ton of Everton last year, but I know Onana's good, and I know that fans were thinking quite highly of him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the Onana sign. I think it was solid. I think they're going to be solid. Just Europe's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree. Also, he wasn't lights out amazing last year, but Moussa Diaby was a starter for them, and he did play a fair amount of minutes. He's gone to Saudi Arabia. Let's see, maybe one of those new midfielders they brought in to replace him. What?
I don't know if they've signed a midfielder who would play as more of a winger for them yet. I think they're yet to sign his replacement.
That's the thing.
Unless Philogene is a winger, I think, but I think he's more of a youngster.
I think so. I didn't watch the championship much.
But there's still 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks even, something like that, left in the window, so plenty of time. Do we all have Villa one spot above Newcastle, or?
I do not rate Newcastle high this year.
You don't rate Newcastle?
I have them 10th. I had them where Chelsea were last year.
Okay.
I think Eddie lost it. I think they didn't sign enough to really bolster that team again. I think it's going to be the same team they were last year. they're just going to underperform again, and I think it's going to be even worse. I don't see it. They haven't spent the money they were supposed to spend that they were promised, and Eddie Howe's good, but there's only so much he can do. And I mean, Bruno Guimaraes I rate highly. I think he's a very underrated midfielder in the Premier League. It's so underrated, it's not even funny. But outside of that, I don't really know where the creativity or the production is going to come from. And I don't know. I don't rate them that highly this year. They'll be solid, but I think they'll underperform again.
Yeah. I think Anthony Gordon, I kind of underestimated how good of a player he was when he was first at Everton. But I think he played really well for them a lot of last season. And I rate Harvey Barnes pretty highly. I think that's a great option to have.
I don't.
As a substitute, I think he's very good.
I feel like Harvey Barnes is just, he's good. Newcastle need to be great.
He's good against tired legs, though. I like him as a sub.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I think there's no Champions League for them this year. I think they'll be considerably better. But that being said, depending on how good Chelsea are, I think they'll be fighting with United and Chelsea for 8th, 7th, 6th spots.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know. Wait, we kind of lost our way. Wait, we're done talking about Villa. We talk about Newcastle now.
Yep.
Okay. Wait, let me see their signings again. I kind of forget.
The Gahey transfer seems to be stalling at the moment. If that goes through,
that'd be a big improvement.
That's a huge one for them. It would be a lot of money. It would
that
also
would
be
that would
65
destroy
million.
Palace too.
Well, Palace have not had a great summer so far.
Losing Odolise and Gahey would be that would be that would be tough.
Have they signed anyone to replace Elise yet?
I think I saw something.
I could not name one.
We'll get there in a little
Fair
bit.
enough.
Yeah,
We'll get to the bottom.
But yeah, Newcastle, their biggest signing has been Lewis Hall from Chelsea.
And that's only loan to obligation. That was technically last season they signed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They only bought him. Yeah, you're right. They only officially bought him this year. And other than that, actually, so I should say their most expensive new signing has been William Osula from Sheffield United for 15 mil.
Actually, technically, they swapped, I think, Vlachodimos and Anderson to Forest for the PSR thing and counted as 30 million.
Oh, really?
So he's Odysseus Vlachodimos is technically their most expensive signing, but like we said, it's money laundering.
Yeah.
Premier League. But yeah, I mean that's my thing. Like, they haven't, the quality is there, but it's not enough for me to justify anything above maybe 7th.
Yeah.
Just for me personally. I mean, if they do get in, it would be the 7th spot or the 8th spot, depending on the coalition would work out. But yeah, I mean, I don't rate them that highly this year. I think Eddie will keep his job. I don't think that would be ever a concern. But I just think he'll have a steady ship and they'll go again next year, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really realize how kind of, I think, weak their window was. But yeah, I think they'll finish. They'll be fighting. Yeah, I stand by what I said. They'll be fighting in that 8th to 6th category, I think. I think they'd be very happy to finish in 6th. I think 7th is probably the most likely spot.
Yeah.
Not even because if Gahey goes through, then maybe I might be a little bit more positive.
Yeah, I think that'll be their move of the summer, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, easily. Which says more about Newcastle than about Gahey, even though Gahey's amazing. I really like that player.
I think he's a very good player.
Yeah.
Where did you guys have West Ham? Just out of curiosity.
West Ham, I think they'll either finish in the same place in 9th, or they'll be in like 11th or 10th. I still think top half of mid-table. What about you?
I'm biased. I have him 6th.
Okay, I like it though.
I have him 6th. Yeah, I mean, I love our window. I think we addressed a lot. I'm a West Ham supporter. I think we addressed a lot of our defensive issues, hijacking the Tobo deal, bringing in Wan-Bissaka, and still having a guard as a great ball moving defender.
Kilman
coming in is going to be
for quite a lot of money.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. We needed it. Okay, we needed a solid center back, just a solid one, not sexy. Zuma's going to be gone. He's a burger. I'm happy about that. Still wish Souček would go, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll work it out. And we have Edison Alvarez. We're still, for now, still keeping Paqueta, the Brazilian Magnifico. So
we'll see if he can
Look, for now, on paper, he's here.
He's there.
He's there. He's great.
Stop gambling.
Stop gambling. But you're great on the field. We need you on the field. Okay? I love Kudus. He's so dynamic. He brought a new breath of life into that team.
I'm a huge fan of Kudus.
Yeah, I think him having a full summer now to train with everybody. And Jared Bowen's just one of the most underrated goal scorers in the league, one of the best left foots in the league. And if this team can stay healthy, I think they can go toe-to-toe with a lot of teams in the top half. Maybe not Man City, maybe not Arsenal, maybe not Tottenham. But they can compete with them. And I think that's what I'm banking on. And West Ham have this weird thing where it's bad season, good season, bad season, good season. So last year we had a bad season. So now this year we're going to have a good season because that's how it works in West Ham, right? Either we're fighting for relegation or we're on the edge of Europa League glory. And we're on the edge of Europa League glory this time. I love our window. I think we've filled out our depth, which has been a major concern the past couple of seasons. I think bringing Somerville was a very good backup move for Jared Bowen because we rode him to the ground last year, and giving him a blow would be important. Bringing Furlong, the striker.
Oh, Fulkrug
was, I don't know why I said that. Fulkrug is one of the most underrated signings of our window because bringing a backup for Antonio has been such a problem. And I think bringing in somebody who could possibly start over him or be his backup would be such an improvement. And yeah, I think the Wan-Bissaka move just completely fills out our window and helps us defensively as well. And having Areola be the starting goalkeeper and not having that be a question anymore is just great. I love our window. I think we've been the most improved club in the Premier League based off the window and on paper. And I think we're going to possibly show that. And I think we're going to compete. And I think we've hijacked a lot of deals.
Yeah.
Which has been surprising.
I think Lopetegui's a good coach, too.
Yeah,
He is.
I'm like 50-50 on him because in the Premier League, he hasn't really shown he could take a team to a high level, right? I think he'll be fine. I think it'll be a good test for him. But I think tactically he's a really, really set-minded player, and he's bringing in a whole new group. And I think it was time to move on from him. I think you saw that. They were kind of tired of him.
Yeah.
I think bringing in a new idea, a new fresh voice into the room is going to help this team out a lot because it still technically is kind of the same team. You still have Alvarez, you still had Bowen, you still have Souček. But you still have your top guys there that have been there under more than can be that leadership role.
Right.
So, I don't know. For me, I'm high on West Ham. Maybe it's a little biased. Maybe we should be 8th or 9th. But for my personal sanity, I have them at 6th. For just having a good Premier League season would be great for me.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I think that isn't impossible. I don't think it's impossible. I just think what's holding us, I'm not going to lie, the only signing I'm not really a big fan of, I'm not a big fan of the Fulkrug signing. I think he's just kind of wrong side of 30, doesn't take a whole lot of shots. And in the Bundesliga, it's all about transition. It's all about they just knock the ball around like all over the field, so you get more opportunities there. That's the only one I don't love.
But I think with Lepeki, it's very like he'll be more involved, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the Premier League, he'll be more as like a sitting down striker.
Yeah.
And when we played with Antonio, that's what Antonio is. He's very much either he'll pass the ball out to Bowen or he'll be into the box.
Yeah.
And he'll drive that line. I think that's what Furlong can do really well, and what he can
just kind of buzzing around.
Okay, yeah. And like I think the Bundesliga has changed so much that style of striker has gone obsolete in that league. But in Premier League, it's still evident.
Okay.
And it can still work.
Okay. Yeah, no, like, I don't hate it. I just think, like, it's going to be a problem 2 years from now because you're paying him a lot, and, like, I don't think any other, like, and just with how much richer the Prem is than everyone else nowadays, it's going to be hard to move him on. But that's a problem for future West Ham.
Well, West Ham, only keep a backup striker for maybe like a year, maybe a year and a half because, Scamacca didn't want to score any goals. Yeah,
everyone talks about Chelsea's number 9 curse, but you guys have a crazy number 9 curse.
Well, Antonio's the black hole.
Yeah.
And, unless we get Bowen at the 9, which is never going to happen, was the dumbest thing that Moyes did because he's not a 9.
Yeah.
He's a winger. But I think just find the backup for Antonio and you'll be fine.
I just wonder, I'm also interested to see how your midfield is because you guys also signed Guido Rodriguez for free, which I think is really good.
Yep.
But he's a lot like Edson Alvarez, the way where they're both straight up destroyers.
Right. Well, that's my point. Is like I think it's a very, very, very deep West Ham team. It's the deepest West Ham team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that every position has a backup and competition. Right. And I think you could play like Edson Alvarez is a destroyer, but he could bring the ball up, and I think he could be that ball-winning midfielder and then move the ball quickly.
Yeah.
I think with Enzo, it's going to be interesting to see if he kind of transitions more to an 8-8, a box to box. I don't know, box to box as an 8.
Or Guido Rodriguez.
Guido Rodriguez as an 8-8 as a 8, and kind of transition. But I think he'll start over Souček right now, just because I don't rate Souček at all. I really don't. Oh, but he's a good in the box corner winning header guy. I don't care. He needs to win the ball. It's time to move on. He's slow.
He's too limited.
He's slow as molasses. It's younger. It's more vibrant. It's more upbeat. I think it's an improvement over Souček. I think that's the big reason why. And we've always played with two holding midfielders, so we'll see if we'll do that again.
You think it's just going to be like Guido and Alvarez just destroying everything, and just like there's like Lopetegui's instruction, then it's going to be like tackle, win the ball, just pass it to Mohamed as soon as you get the ball.
If that's not the West Ham way, I don't know what isn't. Okay, like, all right, that's
have one good number 10. Who
that's
just
all we
pass the
need. Just bring Dimitri Payet back, and we'll be fine.
All right, I like it. I'm expecting things out of West. I think like. I'm just worried. I think that I could see them still finishing 9th and fans kind of being like, "Oh, we didn't improve," but it's like, nah. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm a West Ham guy too myself. Like not as big of a fan as you, but I think they were kind of lucky to finish in 9th last year.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a terrible year. Oh my god.
So I think they're going to have a much better year than they did last year. But I think they're going to have more points. But I don't know if their position in the table will be much better. I still think they'll be just outside of the European spots. But I'd love to be proven wrong. I love seeing West Ham do well.
Yeah.
It's easily one of my favorite clubs and fan bases in the Premier League. Oh, wait. We skipped Chelsea.
Okay.
Do you want to go back to, do you want to talk about Chelsea?
Let's go Chelsea real quick.
Where do you have them finishing?
I have them 9th.
Okay.
I have them 9th. I just don't think they've improved, and I don't love the coach that they brought in. I don't think it'll work out. I think he'll be gone by Christmas. I think they're so quick on their trigger that he'll be gone by Christmas, and they'll move on again, and they'll be in that kind of shuffling, scattering range. But they have the quality again. It's going to be very similar to the team they had last year. It's going to be the same year, I think, that they're going to be kind of floundering around 12th and 11th and 10th, and then they'll just finish 10th and call it a day, and they'll bring in a new coach again.
Yeah. I don't think much more highly of them. I think I don't know. I didn't write down all of my table yet, but I could agree with that. I think I kind of have them maybe finishing a little bit higher. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was a big mistake to fire Poch. I'm a pretty big Pochettino fan.
I think he wanted to leave. It was too weird the timing that they fired him right after they finally started playing well. I think there was a semi-mutual decision for him to go.
Yeah, I bet you they're probably just giving him too much crap. He was like, "Yo, this team sucks. I'm doing a good job. Like I'm gonna leave if you guys are gonna get on my
miserable experience coaching them."
Yeah. Well, because, dude, Chelsea just aren't playing seriously, man. They're playing Football Manager, like they're playing FIFA. It's like. It's as if Todd Bowley just Google it's like he goes on his computer. It's like top FIFA players to buy in career mode, and like he's just like, let's sign those guys. Yeah. But bro, it doesn't matter. Like potential is just potential. You need to play if you're a young player if you're going to get better. And right now they have a 43-man roster. Last time I checked. How are you like? You have to find the guys. You have to find like 20 of them and say, all right. You're the team. You're the squad. We're going to move forward with you guys. And, I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of Poch. And everyone says that the first year of Poch is the hardest because you need to learn his system. And if Poch got these guys to 6, I can't really see Enzo. I forget his last name.
Mosca.
Yeah, he used to play for Sevilla back in the day. I can't see him doing any better with this team.
Well, I think Poch kind of did do the work in the last half of the season of figuring out who should really be playing, who should really be in the matchday squad. And yeah, whatever Bowley and their board is doing with the recruitment, where they're just like stacking up assets, thinking that they'll be worth more and they can flip them if they just loan them out for a while. Whatever that is, like that doesn't even matter to the coach if he can just make it clear that he won't. He'll pick his players, and then they'll move on. I think they've made they've made more signings than they needed to as usual, but they made smarter signings than usual this summer. I think Pedro Neto is a really good player. I think that's going to be a great signing for them. Obviously massive injury problems.
Yeah.
But
They got cover.
then they could maybe play Sterling as a winger who's actually good with the ball, and then have Neto do the pace and the dribbling that they're using Mudryk for. And Mudryk will never have to play again.
Oh, Chelsea.
Another striker would maybe be something they need. I don't know. I'm not the
quality
biggest Nicholas
striker.
Jackson fan. He's decent enough. He won't really take them into the Champions League for me, but he'll get them up there.
Yeah, to me, I'm one of the biggest Nicholas Jackson fans I know. Not to say that I don't think he's like the best player ever, like going to be like a world beater, but I like what he does for the team. He's a really good presser, and he makes dumb decisions sometimes. But he also, he scored double digits last year. No, Did he
Yeah.
not?
He did, yeah.
So I don't know.
He also scored a hat trick against 9 men, but
True, but hey, someone had to do it. But I don't know. I'd keep him. The Samu deal fell through. They were going to sign Samu Moridion from Atleti, but then they wanted 50% of his image rights. So he was like, "Get out of here! I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make no money that way." And
Gotta
they
love
might
it.
sign João Felix now. We'll see how that goes. I hope
seen
so.
Hey, Todd, you're
We've
doing
seen how it
great.
went.
Todd, you're doing
Great.
really great, Todd. Keep it up.
Yeah, go please, someone sign him at this rate, man. Like God. Yeah, and so that means Conor Gallagher might be coming back. And yeah, hopefully, Enzo can. What's his last name again? The coach. Maresca. Hopefully, Maresca can just
But
take notes from Pochettino and be like, all right, these are the guys I'm going to use moving forward. But
did you know his jump? Yeah. He went from Parma, which is a Serie B team, to Leicester, to getting Leicester into the Premier League, to now to Chelsea.
Yeah, it's. I
What
can't
is
really.
that jump?
And Chelsea's, it's a toxic club right now.
To be fair, he was an assistant manager under Pep at City, so that's why they hired him.
Oh, great! Another one of
guess-
the Pep tree.
I guess it worked for Arteta, but
I see one every week.
It's like you can pretty much trace their logic in hiring him to it worked for Arteta.
yeah.
But I don't know. I think Cucurella, he really impressed me, not just in the Euros, but in the end of last season. I think he turned it around. I think Matson's a good player. And then if Fofana can ever play again, Reece James won't. We have to acknowledge that's done. But Gusto's a good player. I think their defense is a lot more solid now. Lavion and Nkunku should be able to contribute. Nkunku, you'd expect, would maybe be a starter. Now that Palmer is their main man, maybe they would have a little bit of an overlap and they would get in each other's way sometimes. But Cole Palmer, I don't expect to hit 20 again. I think he had a pretty fluky season in terms of just his pure goal scoring, but with all the penalties and then having 7 goals in 2 games. I think him having 20 goals kind of misrepresents how much of a goal threat he was throughout the season.
Yeah, no.
But he's very good, obviously.
No, he is. Yeah, no, he was running a little bit hot and he took penalties, so he got a little bit overrated.
It's a pretty fluky 20-goal season.
Yeah. But he's very young, so he could have a real one pretty soon. I mean, you guys want to kind of move on to some maybe some.
We'll just run through the bottom half of the table.
Yeah. Okay, bet.
You want to start with 20 and we'll work our way up a little bit?
Actually, can I say one or two things about mid-table, though, for a second? I do think, actually, if they sign a new striker, expect a leap from Bournemouth, I think. I'm picking Bournemouth to finish in either 10th or 9th place. I'm not sure exactly where I'm saying it yet, but I think they're going to take a jump. I'm a huge fan of Iriola. I've been a fan of him since he was at Rayo. He got off to a bit of a shaky start last season. A bunch of you Spaniards don't understand the pace and the physicality of the Premier League. A lot of those guys were going off in my mentions. But I think he's going to just build on the great season he had last year. I think that's really one to look out for in the future.
Yeah.
And relegation?
Sure.
Who's in the battle? Maybe not who's going down, but who's in the battle.
So 15, 16, 17?
Yeah.
Okay. I have 15 Everton, 16 Wolves, 17 Leicester.
Ooh, I like that.
And then Southampton, Ipswich, and Brentford, or going down.
I have a surprise at 18 because I
Interesting.
don't rate them at all this year. I have Ipswich. I have Southampton. At 18, I have Brighton.
Oh,
Brighton
wow.
have not done anything in this window,
Wow.
and they were shaky last year in a lot of games. And I just don't think they have the momentum, and I think they're going to lose it. And if they don't really sign anybody that impressive to me, I don't rate them. I think they're going to struggle. I think Leicester's better. I think Wolves are better. I think Everton's better managerially as well. And I just don't see them competing anywhere near the top.
That's interesting. Oh, sorry, I just saw some cool news.
What happened?
Apparently, Napoli are confident in signing Billy Gilmore from Brighton.
Well, first of all,
A Scotsman?
Okay. Secondly, they'll just lose everybody at that point.
Yeah, I gotta say though, that's a hot take. I don't agree, but that's a hot take. I don't think they're going to be great this year though. I do think they're going to fall off.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was in this really good sandwich shop in Fort Greene the other day, and my guy who works there, he's from Gambia, and Brighton just signed this pretty impressive Gambian winger he was from Feyenoord from the Dutch league, so we don't know how that's going to translate. But he was looking pretty beastly in preseason. He got a goal and assist against Villarreal in preseason. He was looking pretty good. He was linking up with Welbeck pretty well, so be on the lookout for him. His name is what's his name? Kind of forget off the top. I'm about to look that up right now. Yankuba Minte. I'm probably butchering that. Sorry to my Gambian listeners and fans if I've let you down. But I think he's going to be a good signing though. And what was I going to say? And they lost Pascal Gross, which is going to be which is going to hurt them. But with that being said, I don't know. I don't think they're going to fall all the way down to relegation. My relegation candidates, here's how I think it's going to go. I think the bottom I think Southampton go down. I think Ipswich go down. I think Leicester stay up. Probably not comfortably, like super comfortably, but I think they finish like 15th, 17th, something like that.
I think their midfield's going to carry them this year.
Yeah, and and let's see. They still got a few guys in that, like, I don't know, that team that went down should never have been relegated.
No.
So, they still have a bunch of Premier League players. I think though, the team replacing them in the championship will either be Nottingham Forest or Everton.
Yeah.
I don't really know which one of the two.
I agree with you, but I would rank Wolves just as low, honestly.
Yeah,
They've sort of been rated and have not replaced anyone important yet.
Yeah, I think that 14 through 18 range between Everton, I think it's going to be Everton, Forest, and Wolves. And now if Gahey goes to Newcastle, you got to throw Palace in there. Because who's scoring goals for Palace this year?
You would think if Palace got 120 million off of 2 sales, they'd be able to bring in someone in time.
They still got Ezier.
Yeah, Ezzy's good.
Is he enough?
No, but I don't know. I agree with Ethan. I think they could probably just go raid another European team, on the continent.
They gotta hurry up.
Yeah, no, they do have to hurry up. It's not going to be a good season for them.
No.
It's going to be messy.
They're lucky that Brentford are sort of slowly fading away from being mid-table.
Yeah.
Yes.
Slipping back down over the past couple of years to relegation fighters.
And don't get me wrong, Dyche did such a good job last year keeping Everton up, but dude, they've been circling the drain for so long now. The vibes are horrendous there. They're getting fined all the time.
They haven't replaced Onana.
Losing Onana is going to hurt them.
Who was their best player last year, right?
Probably,
by all accounts, yeah. Kind of, I have similar thoughts for Forest. It's just they don't really have a plan. They're just signing a bunch of
what else is new?
The past
what else is new?
The past 2 years they've just been signing random players from everywhere. So I think it'll be Everton or Forest going down.
Yeah. If I believe one person to get a point, it's Sean Dyche, no matter what situation is. So I think he'll do just enough. And I like Nuno. I think Nuno's a good coach. I think he'll manage to keep Nottingham up. Wolves are a big concern for me as well. I haven't rated them that high this year, and I don't know what the plan is there, replacing getting a striker in there. Yeah, I mean, It's going to be 14th for one spot. I think we're all in agreement that Ipswich and Southampton are going to go down, but I think it's 14th for one spot.
Keep an eye out for Kieran McKenna, highly rated manager.
Yeah.
Former Manchester United coach. Highly rated manager.
Right.
They have made a couple signings. I honestly don't know how good they'll be or how terrible they'll be, but they have made some signings. They're showing ambition to stay up.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for Ipswich. They could be a dark horse.
Yeah, I think they'll kind of be like Luton last year, where everyone's
We love them.
we
love 'em.
I wanted Luton to stay up so bad, man. I wanted them to stay up so badly. But anyway,
They play no shed.
no, it's really beautiful. That's
the beauty of it.
The romance of football. Man.
Yeah.
But do we have any other predictions? Any other shouts we want to get in there?
I think everything we pretty much covered.
Yeah, we
big
covered
ones.
great things. Also, if there was something you wanted us to cover, either leave a comment down in the YouTube comment section, and I'm working on making us social media accounts where you could send us questions. So be on the lookout for that. Ethan, thanks so much for coming through and
Thank you,
joining
Ethan.
us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was